All right. I think we're going to go ahead and get started with things. First off, welcome to everyone. My name is Jenny, and I am the communications coordinator at the Do-Good Institute. But welcome to the Do-Good Institute's special summer leadership exchange session with Ramon Santos, a Brazilian social entrepreneur in residence with the Do-Good Institute and the Center for Social Value Creation. And here at the Do-Good Institute, we are a center for social impact, a hub of sorts, and we provide education, programs, and resources to empower the next generation to do good. So welcome to all of you. We're so glad you're here, and also a special welcome to all of our friends joining us from Brazil today. So I have a few announcements and things before we get started. So just as a reminder, we're going to be spending the first 20 to 30 minutes in a moderated interview led by our Do-Good Institute Associate Director, Sarah Gallagher. And then afterwards, we'll be opening it up for questions. And a note about that is I would ask and request that you utilize the Q&A box down at the bottom of your panel for any questions, and feel free to drop those in anytime throughout the webinar. And then please reserve the chat for any general comments or questions. If you're having any tech issues, please feel free to chat and I can try to take care of those. But then lastly, we're so excited, thanks to our friend Johnny Randolph today, who is going to be providing real-time Portuguese translation. So for anyone who is needing to utilize our second Portuguese audio channel, feel free to navigate to the bottom of your screen where you'll see the interpretation button that should allow you the option to choose a Portuguese channel. So with all of that, I'm going to hand it off now to our Associate Director, Sarah and Ramon.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and welcome everyone at UMD, those joining from Brazil, and a very special welcome to you, Ramon. I've had the privilege of getting to know Ramon over the last few weeks, and you're in for a real treat. He's one of those people who makes our sector fun, truly. Before we jump into questions, you've all read his bio, but I'll just share a few highlights about Ramon. He's a firm believer in the power of technology to advance social enterprise and really build leaders for the future now. And his experience with startups, strategy, project management, and software development, he's an engineer by training, have garnered him and his companies a number of accolades, including the FAPESB Innovative Ideas Award, the National Innovation Award from National Industry Confederation twice in recent years, and the YLAI Fellowship, which he's here visiting for right now, which empowers entrepreneurs to strengthen their capacity and launch and advance their entrepreneurial ideas and effectively contribute to their countries of heritage, as well as economic development in those communities. So these are just a few of his accomplishments in recent years. He's the Chief Innovation Officer at Getin, which is an accelerator in Brazil for tech startups. And Ramon has, as I said, a bachelor's degree in computer engineering, and he has 2 master's degrees, 2 MBAs, one in project management and one in innovation management. You can find more about him on his LinkedIn, but I just wanted to share a little bit more about him before we jump in. So welcome, Ramon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for this opportunity. I was thinking about our partner, Johnny. Probably Johnny is having some problem because you speak too fast.
Okay, so I'll slow down.
Don't worry about it, but we have now 2 channels, so we are trying to give all the information to Brazilian guys too. So don't worry about it. Let's just move on. And Johnny, good luck, because it will be really difficult.
Johnny, thank you very much. And I will try to speak slowly so the English speakers can understand me too, because I can speak fast sometimes.
No worries.
So Ramon, I think it would be great to start our conversation understanding a little bit more about the landscape in Brazil in terms of social innovation and entrepreneurship. What is it like being an organization that supports social entrepreneurs in your country?
So good question. It's an important question to start, because we need first of all understand what it means being a social company to help social entrepreneurs. So Getin is right now an organization that not try to help startups grow, but not necessarily in the whole areas. For example, try to help social entrepreneurs in this moment. What we are trying to do is help startups that are trying, for example, to develop softwares. So it's kind of social tech basement, not necessarily only social process. So it is what we are trying to do necessarily. And to us, being this kind of organization is always trying to understand how we can help people, how we can not only develop a new software, how we can not only, for example, create a new system to help other business to grow, but how we can stay involved with the social process. This is what the being a company related to social process means to us.
That's great. And I know you and I have talked a lot about this over the last few weeks. Can you share some of the challenges with this work?
Very good. It's important too, because, for example, if you need to develop a new software, this is what we do best. We are really able to do it. So we can use, for example, software development process, Scrum like an agile process. But if we need to develop a new social impact startups, how can we do it? This is a real challenge because we need to learn a lot. We have a lot of opportunities in Brazil trying to understand our situation, our context. And if we are not able to do it correctly, probably we will fail. So one of our main challenge is assimilate this kind of information. What means social? What means social impact? What is necessarily a new startup trying to do good? So we are trying always to understand this new kind of knowledge, try to implement it in our business model, try to use, for example, methodologies like B model for big corporations. What is this? How can we use this in small business, for example? So I think it's really important. And our main challenge is understand what social impact means and implement it correctly.
I think that's such a great point. And I think we have some of our students from UMD and from the Do Good Institute listening, and we are always asking them to think back to the problem. What are the issues? What can they learn about it before coming up with a solution and focusing on the tech or whatever the, engagement is that they're trying to do, to really think about that first piece. So good to hear that that's also something that you're focused on at Getin.
Perfect.
So speaking of students at UMD, you've had a chance, Ramon, to meet some social entrepreneurs, some innovators at UMD, some of our Do Good students and other students. Can you share what you've seen that students or social entrepreneurs in the US and social entrepreneurs in Brazil can learn from each other? What are some of the things you've seen that they might be able to take as lessons back to their work?
So good. And for example, let's return to our title, trying to use technology to social purpose. So I think the most important thing related to how we can do it, how we can use tech to be a social entrepreneur, is analyzing the situation that you not necessarily need to be the best guy using technology tools, because you can use a lot of things, for example, plugins, CMS like WordPress. So you can use a lot of plug and play tools to do what you want to do. So it's very important to understand that technology is not the final process, is the middle one. So other thing is understanding that try something fast, try something as fast as possible, because in some moments, if you only focus on the technology or the methodology or the process that you are trying to learn to use in your final purpose or proposition, probably you focus on only one thing that don't really matters. Try to understand the real problem, try to implement some kind of fast and quick technology, try to, for example, Google some kind of software that you are trying to develop if it is your purpose, but don't try to develop new technologies. I am a guy from technology context and area, and I'm telling you, you don't need to understand about PHP, Java, .NET, other kind of technology, because it's not needed. You can just Google something and you can implement it really fast. So I think that we have a list of things that you can learn together. Technology is not the final process, it's the middle one. try to use it to help you, not to be your final level. But don't forget about it, because technology really can help you. Don't matter if you are trying to create something for social purpose. You can use technology, for example, creating social ecosystems, social networks, crowdfunding platforms. So we have a lot of tools that you can use to get your final social impact. But technology is in the middle. The second one, try always to focus in the how fast you can be, how fast you can start something and you can finish something like a prototype. If you can do it in just a weekend, you can do it really best. So for example, try to enjoy in weekends like projects like hackathons or other things like this probably will allow you to do it fast. So try always to do it in this kind of strategy too. But I think that we have a lot more.
Yeah, that's great. And we have an expression in English, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right?
Perfect.
So you're saying you don't need to be the one innovating and discovering and creating everything. It already exists. And you're talking about if you're going to fail or succeed, do it quickly, right? Don't waste time on starting from scratch. So I'm going to jump around a little bit in our questions, Ramon, because we were just talking about tech. So share a little bit more about some of the really exciting and innovative technologies that you've seen in your work. Like, what's the most innovative technology you've used to advance your business? Just for someone who's not that tech savvy, it's really exciting for me to hear these things.
Very good, Sarah. And we have, let me see how many women we have. A lot. Ariana, Catherine, and Sarah, Jenny, Cynthia, Jaiza. So we have a lot of women here. And if we need to help women against domestic violence, what could we do? What could we do trying to help with information, with rights, for example, try to explain about rights and other kind of protections. So our most important project in these kind of areas, trying to use technology with the social purpose to help women, was using artificial intelligence. Well, when I started talking about artificial intelligence, you can tell me, oh, you are doing the high tech way that is possible. No, it's not. Exactly as I told you, you can use some kind of middle tech. And to do it, we used the Watson algorithm to implement a new artificial intelligence by a chatbot. So we created a new chatbot that, using a humanized language, helped women to get the correct information as soon as possible, doing this with one algorithm, with a software that can do it really fast. So look how interesting is it. We had the high tech in our structure, in our strategy to use something new, but we not necessarily developed a new artificial intelligence software, because it is what I am trying to do, and I'm trying to tell you all this meeting. You don't need to develop the final process. We use it just Watson from IBM. So when we made this, we received important recognition for our national policies, because they have the law, they have the process, but they don't have the connection with the women in real time. So if you are using your phone, for example, you can just send a fake WhatsApp message. You can start a conversation with a chatbot. It's a robot that can help you, like a woman, how you can be protected, how you can have the correct information about your rights. So it was amazing, but it was a simple tool. It was not necessarily the best and more technological process that we made, but it was using the strategy to how can I use what I have, how can I implement it really fast. So it's one of our main and beautiful projects that we made in Brazil. It's not finished, it's a prototype yet, but we are trying to grow and getting some financial helps to do it and to finish the project. It was really interesting.
That's a great example of a project that's disruptive to the space and the, and the social issue, but it's not that the technology itself is so advanced. It's just the way it's being used.
Perfect. Another point that I would like to add is because, for example, if you are a woman and you are going to Department of Policy, probably you need to talk about your case to a new man. It's really discomfortable. I think you can understand me. So I think uncomfortable. So if you have a simple structure, you can do it really easily. So this is our social purpose, not only a new chatbot. It's kind of easy thing to do. But when you are trying to use technology to implementing a social purpose, you can do it fast and you can really make impact.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that example, Ramon. What for people who maybe don't have anyone with tech expertise on their team, or their training is somewhere else, what are some of the easiest technologies that you think they can use to advance their work and their social enterprises?
So I have here, I think Jaisa is one of the social entrepreneurs, women social entrepreneurs in Brazil that are trying to create environmental tools. So I think that always when you create your idea, try to find some kind of plugin from WordPress, for example, and probably you will find something that can help you easily in a weekend. Because, for example, Jaisa have a project that are trying to teach about environmental process, how we can help companies to use correctly the environmental structure. So if she started trying to develop a new software, a new e-learning software, probably she is still developing this software until today. But when she started trying to find a new plugin in the WordPress or other kind of software like Moodle, for example, it's really fast, the strategy to implement it in a new proposition in the second week or 31. So always, if you as an entrepreneur wanted to do something and you think that it's possible to be connected with some kind of technological tool, the first thing, try to find some kind of plugin from WordPress. It's always, I try to use the same suggestion because for me, always it works, always. And I can develop my prototype really fast.
Hot tip, everyone, you heard it here. I thought WordPress was just for websites.
No, it's very important. And sorry, but I'd like to add, for example, if you wanted to create a new social network, you can just install a new plugin, name it Buddy Press. It's the name, Buddy Press. If you wanted to create, for example, a new strategy in your company to give gifts for your employees trying to create innovation, you can implement the Game Press. If you wanted to create another Tinder to connect not people, but to connect companies, you can use the Match Press. So you have a lot of things that you can just plug and play, and the ready-made, you can use it easily. It's really true. Yeah.
That's great. Maybe we can also share after the webinar, we can share some links that you think people could use to access some of these tools you're talking about.
Perfect. We can do this. Yeah.
So let me step back again and ask you about Getin. What kind of groups do you support and what kind of support do you provide? I want to get a sense of what is it like to be in an accelerator in Brazil compared to the US?
Oh, good question. And I think that we are a different kind of accelerator until in Brazil, because when we are trying to construct or think about a new accelerator or incubator, always probably we will start thinking about the market fit. So how can you help you to create a new business model canvas? How can you help you to create your new business model? But when it finishes, how can you really succeed in your product fit? How can you, for example, if you finish your business model, how can you transform it in a new technological product? So our actuation, our act, when we act about this kind of process is in the final step. So if you have your business model finished, and if you want some help to create your company and to create your new product, we can help you. So it's really different because we don't talk to you about business because we think that you know more about your context than us. So I think that you can be more efficient in your business than us. So, but probably if you need to understand about accountability, about management, about laws, about a lot of other things, probably you fail because you divide your time. So what we do is we focus on the bureaucratic, the hard parts of being entrepreneur. So the part that you need to understand about law to open a company, we can do it to help you. So always, since getting started, we was involved with technological startups, and we learned a lot about how can you faster start a new company. It's not a new business, a new company, and how we can, after the development of the business, start a new product, main software development. So this is our two main points. We help you, if you are a startup, we help you to start your company, and we help you to finish your product. We have other kind of partners in Brazil that help you to understand about valuation, product development, customer development, lean startup. So when you are focused on the entrepreneurship, you are the leader. But when you need support to create products or companies, we can help you. This is what we do.
So the entrepreneurs, you treat them like the experts in their field, and you're providing the admin, backbone, strategic management support, essentially, and connecting them to other services and expertise to help them grow what they're doing.
Perfectly. For example, the last one, I think Cynthia Oliveira is one of our experts in Brazil, is already with us in this meeting. For example, if you want to hire a new professional, we can provide you the strategy to do it correctly. So if you need to be a headhunter, we have one. So it's how we can help you as an entrepreneur to grow faster. We don't want you trying to waste time finding someone in the LinkedIn. We can help you to do this and faster.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit, Ramon, about the scale? How many entrepreneurs do you work with? Are there other accelerators like yours?
Sorry, the skills? I didn't understand you.
How many entrepreneurs do you work with? How many businesses do you work with? And then I was wondering, are there a lot of accelerators like this in Brazil?
I don't think so. I think that we received a national recognition, an important recognition, because we are trying to innovate in our organizational process. So I think that in Brazil, we have a lot of other kind of accelerator companies, but we are really doing something different because we are using the information that we have outside the ecosystem related to innovation. We are not only focused on unicorn, angels, it's real or it's fantasy. We are trying to help small business companies. Yeah. If you want to start, we can help you. So about numbers, we start working inside our partners, our partnership structure. So we help 40 startups. So 40 startups, I think more or less 5 person per startups, 200 people. But when we start to think outside the box and trying to understand our context, our Brazilian context, so how many people we could help if we stop only focus on our internal process and focusing outside, it should be perfect, and it was perfect. We was hired by the Inter-American Bank. It's an international organization. And we helped only this one program, 4 cycles, more than 1,500 people. So we are really trying to help in this new moment more people than companies. We are trying to focus on people because it's really important. So this is some of our numbers that I'd like to share.
That's great. And so you're working with startups who are, have a team, as well as those individuals who are starting their own very small business. And you're doing that with partnerships like the IDB.
Yeah, the first proposition was help Afro entrepreneurs, Black guys from Brazil. So trying to start new business. So for example, what we cheat when we are trying to help this kind of people: management, accountability, English. It's interesting, but we try to teach English, and handcrafting, tourism, how you can sell something. It's the basic things that you can use to start new small companies. So I think probably these more than 100 people will stay more able to start new companies or to grow their own companies. So this is the most important. We can help with the basic structure, and you can innovate in your area.
Okay, great. And I could keep asking you questions, but I'm just going to ask you one more and then see what the audience wants to ask you. So we ask this question a lot. Effective leaders are always learning and growing. What's the best piece of advice that you've gotten that really helped you develop into the leader you are today and put you on this path?
So I really would like to think about this question, because when someone seems like a leader, they need to ask themselves, I am a real leader or not? I am really help people to achieve some things, and I am achieving what I want or not? And this is an important and difficult question, Sarah, because I don't know if I'm really a leader. I really would like to help people. I don't want to have this kind of nomination. I want to help people. Maybe it's being a leader. Maybe when you just take your time and help other people, you are being a real leader. And I think that one of the most important things, it's crazy, but it's real to me, it's communication. For example, right now I am speaking another language. I am trying to understand you as fast as possible, so as full as possible. And when we, like leaders, trying to communicate, to share ideas, to share values, maybe we can be good leaders, because communication is not only in one way. When you are communicate with someone, you are sharing information and you are receiving information. In Brazil, I don't know if it makes sense in US, but in Brazil, they told us if you have 2 years and 1 month, you need to speak less than you can listen from someone or hear someone. So I think that always in my leadership strategy, I was a guy trying to hear, try to assimilate information, use it correctly and share it correctly, using the best communication skill that I can. For example, right now, as I am trying to do. This is my story about leadership.
I think something you're getting at is something I really agree with, is that one of the best things that effective leaders can do is support the people around them. It's not about what you're achieving yourself, but what you're helping other people achieve.
Perfect, Sarah. We can see a lot of images representing this kind of situation. Really, really, real leaders are involved with the team. So supporting is the best way to think about leadership.
Awesome. Well, this has been so great. I'm going to stop my questions. And Jenny, if you can share what questions there might be coming from the audience, we'll let Ramon answer some of those.
Yeah, I'll give a minute for people to drop any additional questions that they have. Feel free to use the Q&A box or the chat, either one. Yeah, but first off, I have a question for you myself, Ramon. I was just wondering, when it comes to collaboration, you being here and in your partnership with the Do Good Institute and with the Center for Social Value Creation, that's an example of international collaboration among entrepreneurial groups. Do you feel like are you seeing a lot of other great examples of collaboration like that? Or do you feel like there are a lot of missed opportunities right now when it comes to collaboration in the entrepreneurial space?
Okay, good question. And I think that I need to talk about it, try to understand my context. So how I can understand the situation in Brazil, it's been or not. This kind of relation, it's very important, but I don't can tell you that is normal. For example, I think that in Brazil, if we learn more about a new other language, a second language, we could be more able to communicate with our brothers in South America. I think that we are not doing this as oh my gosh, how can I speak to do it? We could do it best, but we're not doing this correctly because we have only one problem, the language. So I think that if we create these bridges, trying to help each other, understanding each other with the same languages or learning about the second language, we can do it perfectly. So for example, I think it is really important, and I can see it happening here in US always, all times. And I think it's really important because right now I have the experiences trying to understand about a guy from India, another guy from China, this is the fellows from the Do Good Institute in the Good Accelerator. So a lot of other cultures. So I think that we have here in this moment more than 10 countries. So this is very important, Jenny. And provided this kind of connection, it can really allow us as entrepreneurs to think outside the box, always. Trying to, for example, stay connected and share information. It was amazing, just to finish your question, my answer. When I was there in the accelerator, I was really afraid because I was not really confident how was possible to connect with other person, not only talking about the language, but talk about culture, about propositions. And it was amazing because we shared a lot of information in only 4 weeks. We created possibilities to stay together working in our countries. So bridges, always, never trying to construct walls, construct buildings, build a new bridge. It's very important. Always you can.
Yeah. Okay, I see a question here from Drew that he just said, thank you for the event today. And what advice, Ramon, do you provide social entrepreneurs for growing their workforce?
The first word that comes to my mind was crowd. Why? Crowd research. So social means in some cases, I think the most part times, people. So try to share your idea. Try to connect people. Try to talk about your new idea, because probably you will have a lot of people. For example, right now, my friend from Guyana, Jonathan Randolph, trying to make this interpretation for the first time. This is a social connection. We are trying to help each other to do something new. We are doing a social purpose. It's a social event too. So always, Drew, when you are sharing your information, when you're trying to create some kind of crowd connection, like a crowd searching, for example, or crowdfunding. So I think that you can do it. Always, when you are talking about helping people, we are humans. We are humans, so we want to help each other. We are not bad. We are good people. This is how I feel, and this is how I think about humans. We are good persons. So, for example, if you ask me, Ramon, do you have any time to meet after this? I will do it because we wanna and we love to help people. So I think the main suggestion is stay in contact, keep in touch with people, share your idea, stay in events like this, and probably the crowd concept will help you. This is what I think. Always when I want help and I ask help for people, I received this help. After this, I constructed the commercial relations, but we can start with the human research. Human research.
Yeah, that's good. There's one other question here that we got from someone saying, or I need to find it. So what kind of resources in Brazil does the government or other sectors provide to support social entrepreneurs?
Oh, very good. It's been amazing to me because I am in South America, Caribbean, and Canada program named YLAI, Young Leaders of American Initiatives, American, Caribbean, Canada Initiative. And when I ask my friends about research, for example, money, structure, mentoring, they tell me, no, I don't have it in the Falk Island. It's not a country, it's a place in Argentina, but it's the same example. So I think Brazil is doing well about helping, but our problem is how many money we have to help our entrepreneurs. Because, for example, if you have the correct information, you can receive a lot of money in Brazil. It's not a real number, the final number, but I think that I received more than 3 or 5 million reais to implement in my companies, the companies that I help, for example, helping by my accelerator or helping by other commercial relations. So we have money. We have in Brazil real issues. So we have real problems that we need to solve. It's really important. If you have the money, but you don't have real problems, you cannot create impact. So the first one, money, we have. We don't have so much, but we have. If you have the correct curriculum, you can get this money. My last one was 500,000. I think five months, I received 5 million reais to develop a new software. And it's not a kind of money that I need to go to give back. It's just money that I can give it to me. I can bring it to me, implement this kind of money in my company and help other people. It's kind of granty, it's a kind of grant. So the first one, money. The second one is structure. If you are an entrepreneur, you need some place like the Do Good Accelerator. Not only because you need to have air conditioner, chair, stable. No, you need to have space to be involved with the entrepreneurship. So in Brazil, we have the same. Again, we don't have a lot, but we have some kind of structures that you can use for free or not. You can apply to these kind of programs to have rooms, chairs, tables, and air conditioners. So to stay involved with the entrepreneurship. And I think that in Brazil, one of the most important things, maybe you as US entrepreneurs could do the same. I think you do. But in 4 weeks, I would like to see more. for example, more connection between University of Maryland with other companies, maybe because we are in vacation, maybe, probably, it's okay. But for example, in Brazil, we always have some kind of meeting in person. For example, all Fridays, you can stay connected with other entrepreneurs just 2.5 hours in a half hour. So you can make a pitch, we can create a new partnership, we can establish a new joint venture in a meeting. So, but you need to do it always, all week. So let's remember, money is very important. Structure is very important, and connection. If you have these three things, you can do a lot of other things with these kind of researches.
Thank you so much, Ramon. Lastly, I just wanted to say, if you don't mind dropping in the chat, perhaps your email or the best way for people to connect with you. And we can probably follow up in an email to everyone as well with that information. If people are interested, either reaching out to you, Ramon, or getting in touch, and we can also provide information about our programs at the Duquette Institute as well. And with that, I'll hand it over to Sarah to wrap us up.
Yeah, this has been such a great conversation, Ramon. I really appreciate your time. Johnny, thank you again for the translation. We couldn't have done this without you. Jenny, thank you for figuring out how we do a webinar in 2 languages, our first attempt. UMD will be the go-to for future webinars like this because we've got it now. Ramon, I think one of the most interesting things that I'm taking away from this conversation is you believe so firmly in the power of technology, and you're an engineer by training, but you've made the point over and over again how important human connection is to everything we do and how we grow our businesses and our work. So I just want to emphasize that. And I know that the last couple of years especially have been really hard for people around the world to make that connection. But I think that people are getting back to that slowly, and what we've missed, hopefully we'll regain. And there are a lot of new and exciting ways that we can use technology and connection together. They're one and the same as we move forward. So thank you for all of your insights. This has been really wonderful. And for the attendees, we will share Ramon's information and some additional follow-ups for anyone who's interested in learning more. So thank you everyone for coming.
Well,
Thank
it
you,
was
everyone.
perfect. So maybe just one final, I totally agree, Sarah. I totally agree, because I think that technology is already made, but if we only use technology, we can make people outside. Because, for example, right now in this moment, we have people together, but where is the other people without the technology too? The computer, the internet. So if you are a guy from technology and you don't think about people, you create a new kind of apartheid, and I don't like this kind of words. So let's put all together, and you can make it this kind of meetings, and you can really help people, not only developing new softwares. I totally agree with your last phrases. Thank you for your explanation about this kind of mindset, because it's really mine. So thank you, Sarah. And thank you for this opportunity too. And thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Keisha, Chevon, Lottie. So Luca, thank you too. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Well, we'll conclude there and wish everyone a great rest of your week.